Hello and welcome to Prenatal Yoga. For this practice, you'll need a bolster or a pillow and a blanket or towel. This is a moving practice, so we'll do a little bit more flowing and you may get a little bit sweaty. We'll also take some time at the end to settle in and to stretch. Thanks for joining me and enjoy your practice. So let's take a nice deep breath in and slowly exhale. And then one more. And exhale. And let your eyes close. Begin to settle into your practice. As you settle in now, notice if this feels comfortable, your hips, your knees, your back. If you need to do something to move, so if it's not working for you to cross your legs, you might extend your legs out or change positions. No, that's always an option. As you settle in now, notice your body, your legs, your back, your arms, your neck, head, and shoulders. And then allow yourself to notice your pregnancy. So noticing first maybe your belly and your baby. But also to acknowledge where you are right now. So acknowledging maybe first the space where you are on your mat, but also the time. How far along you are in your pregnancy, how far you've come, how your baby has grown, how your baby has changed from something teeny tiny to now visible through the bump, your bump. You can move your hands from your legs to your belly to check in there. As you acknowledge your pregnancy, acknowledge all the amazing things your body has done over the last several months. So each day your baby has grown and your body has nourished that through your breath, through your energy, take a moment to check in with baby. Noticing now if they're sleeping, they're still and quiet themselves, or they're busy, wiggling, dancing, maybe even kickboxing. Imagine their tiny face. Their eyes, their nose, their mouth. Their little fingers and toes. So sorry about this. Is Zoe. She's joining our practice today. And take another breath in. And slowly exhale, bring your hands to your knees and start to cat and cow your spine. Let your eyes open. So as you inhale, reach your chin and chest forward, opening through your chin and chest. And then as you exhale, round your back, tuck your chin to your chest. And continue moving back and forth through your cat-cow. I'm going to let her out. But you guys keep moving. time you come through neutral, sit up nice and tall. Lift your shoulders up to your ears, pull them firm and tight. And as you exhale, circle them back and around. Do that one more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, circle back and around. And then let your hands come down to your legs or beside you. And let's switch leg position if you don't need to, because your legs are out front, that's perfectly fine, but feel free to move around. Be comfortable in this space. We're going to sit just a little bit longer. So as you sit here, I want you to reach your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, bend your elbows, put them in your back pocket. Do that twice more. Inhale, reach up, stretch. Exhale, elbows in your back pocket. Good. And one more time. Inhale, reach, stretch. Exhale, in your elbows in your back pocket. And let's hold here for another breath. As you hold, you're moving your elbows back behind you. But I also want you to keep your posture up nice and tall. So if you're feeling like you're arching your back or you're opening up through your rib cage, you're going to zip that back together by contracting your abs, giving your baby a hug, and keeping your spine up nice and tall. And let's stay here for one more breath. And then exhale. Release your hands down, but keep that tall posture. So we want to stay up nice and tall, lifting the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Continue to give baby a hug. And then another breath in. As you exhale, lift in and up from your pelvic floor. So we're going to contract that pelvic floor. Hold the contraction for a couple breaths. So breathe in and out. Continue to lift up through your pelvic floor and give baby a hug through your belly. One more time. And then this time use the exhale to let go. So releasing through your belly, releasing through your pelvic floor. And then just wiggle all that out. So you're going to wiggle your shoulders, you're going to rock side to side, make it a little bit more active in your movement. And then sit up nice and tall. Hands come down by your side. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead, reaching up towards the ceiling. And then exhale over to the right. Inhale back to center. And exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, bend your elbows, put them in your back pockets. Give baby a hug to zip up your rib cage. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Then as you exhale, bring your hands down, roll over onto hands and knees. So remember, as you move into hands and knees, if you've started noticing that your wrists are not feeling comfortable, you can use a blanket or a towel to put it across your mat. And then put your hands on the edges of that. So your fingertips are down on the mat. Your hands, the palms of your hands are resting on the blanket or towel. From here, our knees are underneath our hips. Our back is nice and long. Take a breath in. As you exhale, give baby a hug, contracting through your belly. And then inhale, release that. Exhale, contract. One more time, inhale, release. Just so we're aware of what's going on with our belly and back. Exhale, contract. And then inhale, release. This time as you exhale, contract just a little bit. So less than we just did, so that your spine is nice and long and supported, but not 100%. You're more like at 50 or 60%. So you've got support through your belly. And let's take another breath here. And now use the exhale to open your knees wide, press back into a wide knee child's pose. As you come into this, rock side to side in your hips. Move your knees as wide as you need to support your belly. And you can see I'm not putting my head down on the mat. If that is where you are today, feel free to go there. Your head, of course, is always welcome to come down to the mat if you are still able to do that or would like to do that. Sometimes it doesn't feel very good if you're experiencing any type of heartburn. It can be nice to actually stack your hands and rest your chin in your hands. So just like this. So let's take 2 more deep breaths in this space. And remember, anytime we're holding up posture, if it's not feeling good to your body is giving some sort of indicator, pain, or feeling like you're not quite feeling, for example, your toes in this position, then you're welcome to move out. So you're going to take your time to move out if you need to. and then come back in or readjust to settle back into that shape. Take another breath. Exhale. And then let your palms find the mat again. Pull forward to hands and knees. As we come back into hands and knees, your knees come underneath your hips. Wrists, shoulders, elbows in alignment, and drop your hips to the right and to the left. So just kind of shaking that out, but also sinking deep into your hip as you move to the side. So from here, I'm sinking back into my left hip. I'm going to take a deep breath. You should do the same. And breathe into the space where you feel sensation. And we'll sink to the other side, so sinking into the right side. Drop into that hip. Breathe into the place where you're feeling sensation. And now come back to center. From here, we'll walk our hands one handprint forward, shift into the start of a plank, but really we're not going to go very far. So our knees are still bent. Your hips are really, yes, at your hips, your hips are still slightly bent. Breathe from here, and then use that to press back into your child's pose. Open those knees if you need to. And we're going to round forward. So to round forward, you're going to lift up, give baby a hug, round your low back. Slowly come back to that hands and knees position, or really extended hands and knees. From here, I'd like you to bring your right foot forward. So you're going to set that right foot on the outside of your right hand. Now you can do it in one swift step, or if you need to, you can take a couple steps and even use your hand for support to bring it forward. So our hands are now on the inside of our right foot. Our spine's nice and long. You're going to lift up through your belly here, giving baby a hug. And be very mindful of how you're stretching. So you want to only stretch to the place where you normally would when you're not pregnant. So if you're feeling that laxity in your hips, it might be easy to sink deeper into this, but that could cause pain later. So we want to be mindful of that. You might even lift a little bit up and back. So just enough that you feel sensation of the stretch. And let's take 2 deep breaths. And then from here, slowly take your time to walk your hands back to your knee, pressing into your right foot. If you need to heel toe that foot a little closer to center for balance, go for it. You're going to come up, bring your hand to your knee, coming up nice and tall. Use your hands for support. And then the same thing here, we're going to shift slightly forward into that hip. So just enough to feel sensation in your hip crease on that left side. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. And then one more. And now bring your hips back over your knees, so back over that left knee as you straighten your right leg. You're going to lift your toes up off the mat, and I want you to keep a slight bend in your right knee. From there, hands come to hips, drop your right hip so it's equal with the left. Take a breath in. If you need more stretch here, you're going to fold forward. Now, depending on how far along you are in your pregnancy, you may fold directly over your leg, so it would look a little bit more like this. But if you're a little bit further along and you need more space for your belly, you're going to go to the inside, so allowing your right leg to go slightly out wide. And then be very mindful here of what's happening with your right knee. So if you are hyperextending, meaning you're going back the way your knee was not made to go, you can add a slight bend to that right knee. And notice the sensations you're feeling right now. Breathe into those spaces. Take one more breath. As you exhale, bring your hand down to the mat. Slowly walk forward, giving baby a hug as you walk to support your back and your belly. Bring that knee back underneath you and rock your hips side to side. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, but before we do, let's go back into one more child's pose. So knees wide, stretch back, sink into your hips. Stay up high or low with your head or your chin. Breathe. And then come forward again. Find your hands and knees. Bring your knees back underneath your hips. Walk your hands a little bit forward, so about 2 or 3 inches, just so we can shift forward, starting to move into that modified plank, and then press back. Get ready to send your left foot forward. Remember, this could be in a couple steps or just one large step, using your left hand for support if needed. So take your time. If you want to grab back, use that left hand to bring your foot forward. Hands now are on the inside of your left foot. And we're sinking into that stretch. If you needed a little bit less here, you could grab your blanket or your towel and come up so that you're a little higher, and continue to fold that as much as you need to, forming your own at-home block. And then another option, you can see that I'm using my fist on this side, so if your wrists are bothering you these days, then fists are also a great option to give your wrists a little bit more space. We'll take one more breath. Slowly let it go. And now take your time to walk your hands back towards your knee, giving your baby a hug as you do so to support your belly and back. Coming up, bringing your hand to your thigh. So as you come up and bring your hand to your thigh, that forms support, extra support for your belly. You also are welcome to hold your belly in any of these places. It can feel really nice, especially if you're a little bit further along. And then start to shift forward only if you need more of a stretch. Breathe into that space. One more breath in. Slowly exhale as you shift your hips back over your knee. Bring your hands to your hips. Straighten your left leg now, lifting your toes off the mat. And settle into this. So I always start with my extended leg, hip up high, and I take a deep breath. Go ahead and sink down into that hip. Let your hips be even. And for a lot of us, that is plenty of a stretch, especially first thing in the morning. If you need more, you're welcome to fold forward, and again, it's either directly in front of your leg, so you might push your foot closer to the middle of your mat, but if you're further along, then you're going to send that leg out wide so you have space for your belly to shift down. Now, your back toe could be with the top of your foot resting on your mat, but if you're wiggling around, feeling like you need more balance, tuck your toe under. Hold and breathe from there. One more deep breath in. Exhale, slowly roll your foot down. Shift back forward. Use your blanket if you need that extra support to send that leg back behind you. So I took one big step, but you're welcome to take more than one. Taking it nice and slow. And then hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders in alignment, knees underneath hips. Big breath in. Let your belly start to sink slightly towards the floor. So this is not the same cow back that we would do when we're not pregnant. This is a gentle sway in your back, just enough to provide some movement. Breathe in. Exhale, round. So begin to rock baby. Inhale down. Exhale, round. Inhale down. Exhale, round. One more time. Inhale down. Exhale, round. And then find your neutral spine, that long table back. Stretch your knees wide. Press back into your hips. Sink into your hips again. Pause and breathe. And as you breathe, send your breath up and down your spine. Notice the sensations you're feeling. And then use your next breath in to shift forward. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips, find a down dog, and this might be tall, it might not be so tall. Alternately lift one heel and the other, and then slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. So moving into a forward fold, if you notice you need more space for your belly, your toes will go wider.
Bring your hands to your low legs and then slowly walk them up, taking your time to come up to stand, noticing how your head feels with this, and certainly taking a breath in to reduce your risk of feeling dizzy. So hands come to thighs, nice long back. As you exhale, round your back, squeeze your belly or give your baby a hug. Inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round up to stand. Roll through your shoulders. And you can come to the center of your mat. So depending on your orientation of your mat, you're welcome to come to the center like I am, or if your mat is facing your screen, then you're just gonna stay at the front of your mat. Either way is fine. So feet can be side to side if that feels comfortable still, or they're a little bit wider just to support your hips. And let's just rock side to side in our hips. So stretching or really just moving and adding blood flow in that area. Good. You can bring your hands to your hips if you'd like to. This is another great place to hold your belly if it would feel good to press back gently towards your baby. Then come back to center. Let's take a breath in, reach your arms overhead, big stretch up. And then exhale over to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So coming just in front of your chest in that prayer position. And you can turn your toes out slightly. We're going to come into a chair pose. And as we do so, I want you to give baby a hug. So you're lifting up from that pelvic floor, pulling back through your belly. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, sit down. Send your hips back behind you, bend your knees. So as we come into this position, you want to make sure that you're not arching your back. You're going to lift up through your belly to lengthen through your spine. And if that means coming up a little bit taller, that's totally fine. So sinking down, big breath in, lift up through your pelvic floor. As you exhale, press down through your feet, come up to stand. And we'll do that a few times. So breathe in. Exhale, come into that chair. Good job. Take another breath in. Exhale, come up to stand. Inhale. Exhale, sit back in chair. Inhale. Exhale, press up to stand. One more time. Got this. Inhale. Exhale, sit back in chair. Hold, breathe. Inhale. Exhale, come up to stand. Good. Now turn your toes so they're now a little bit more parallel. Again, if it works better for your hips to have them out wide, then fix them or turn them out wide again. Nice tall posture here. As you exhale, fold forward, bend your knees slightly. Hands are going to stay on your thighs for support. And let's do a couple cat-cows again through our spine. So rounding and extending. And then take your time to roll up to stand, unwinding your spine, roll through your shoulders. So let's put all that together. Step your feet closer together. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, big stretch up. Exhale over to the right, stretch long down the left side of your body. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, hands to heart center as you bend your knees, sink into your squat or your chair pose. Again, if you need to turn your toes out or widen your hips, go for it. Long spine, lifting up through your belly, lifting up through your pelvic floor. Breathe. Good. And then from here, we're going to release our hands down to our thighs, straighten your legs, bend your knees again. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. This time use the exhale to give baby a hug as you round up to stand. Roll through your shoulders. Nice. Now we're going to use the length of our mat. So stepping to the front of your mat if you need to, or the short end, feet are side by side. So right leg's going to stay in front. Step your left foot back behind you and start with just a bigger step than normally if you were to back step, but not quite a full lunge yet. Come up onto your toes. And you're going to slowly roll down through your foot. So pressing the front of your foot down into the mat, into the pad of your foot, and then roll through your arch and roll through your heel. Breathe, stretch, 2 more breaths. And then let's move in and out of this. So slowly peel your heel off the mat, lift up through your arch, press through the pad of your foot, and then bend your knees so that your toes stay on the mat and the pad of your foot stays, but you're really looking at that crease in between your toes and your foot. So just working through your arch. So arches get a lot of stress throughout pregnancy. The additional weight from baby presses down through our feet, and also the relaxin stretches our feet out. So they do tend to get a little flatter during your pregnancy. So this can feel really nice to A, work your feet, but B, roll that foot back down. Also stretch. So one more time. Peel your heels slowly off, lift up through your arch. Move into the pad of your foot, bend your knee, press into your toes, or really that place in between your toes and the pad of your foot. And then peel your foot back down. And then come back just to the pad of your foot so you're ready to shift your weight again. You're gonna press into your right foot, lift up through your belly, give your baby a hug for support, and then step your left foot further back, coming into a lunge. As you come into the lunge, stay in the pad, press through your heel, hold here for a breath. And there are a couple options. You can bring your hands to your hips, you can bring your hands to your belly, or if you'd like to, you can bring your hands overhead. As you come overhead, notice what happens in your rib cage. Make sure you're not splaying your ribs, keeping those closed. So not so closed that we can't breathe, of course, but we just don't want to splay them out. Take another breath. And then exhale, open to warrior 2. So back foot parallel to the back of your mat. You might wiggle wider, you might not. Front knee centered over your ankle in the front. Rib cage sitting over your pelvis, and arms are long and strong and active. So another option here again is to bring your hands to your belly, interlace your fingers, and press in and up through your belly, so giving your back some support here. And you can also feel nice traction to your spine. Take another breath. Exhale. And then one more. And exhale. If your hands are on your belly, release them to your hips. Find your hip creases and straighten that front leg. So as you straighten again, soft little bend here so you're not hyperextending your knee. Lift through your spine. Exhale, fold forward into a tiny baby triangle. Pause, breathe, and stretch. And your gaze could be down at your foot, or it could be out in front, depending on what feels good right now. Noticing your neck and your back in that as you make that choice. And let's take 2 more breaths. As you inhale, come back up to center, slowly bend that knee. Then we're going to start to make our way back to the front of the mat. So you can take a couple hops to do that, you can take a couple steps, and finally getting to the front. And then once again, rock your hips side to side. So kind of wiggling that out, arch and round your back. Stay right where you are. I'm just going to turn so you can see. We're going to add a little bit of twist in between sides. So feet side by side, breathe in, exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale back to center. One more time. And this also could be with your hands on your belly. So breathe in. It's a gentle twist. Exhale, twist right. So it could be very small. Let your knees bend to support that twist if you need to. And then come back to center. Breathe in. Exhale, twist to the left. And then we're going to go back in. Your hands can come back down by your side onto that left side, so left or the other side. Bring your foot back. Coming up onto the ball of your foot, so just a step back about 1.5 feet between your feet. Toes point forward. They could be wider if you need a little bit more help with balance right now. So coming to the ball of your foot, slowly peel your foot down, moving through your arch, pressing through your heel. Take a breath. Exhale, slowly lift your heel, your arch, your pad, press into the place, that crease in between your toes and the pad of your foot, stretching your arch. Roll back down. This could be at the pace that works for you, so it doesn't have to be as slowly as I'm moving, or it could be a little faster or a little slower. And then stay on the pad of your foot. Lift up through your belly. Prepare to step back into that lunge. Hands can be wherever it makes sense. Step back into your lunge. Settle through your feet first. So pressing now through your left foot. Press back through your right heel. Give your baby a hug to support your back. So this is about a 60% intensity hug. So you still have room to contract more through your abs if you needed to. And then breathe. And then you can stay here, bring your hands to your belly, or reach your arms overhead and stretch. And take 2 more deep breaths. And then inhale. As you exhale, open to warrior 2 on the other side. Back foot parallel to the back of your mat. Center your ribcage back over your hips. You should be able to see your big toe in the front. Or at least be using your outer thigh to center your knee over your ankle. So again, you can have your hands on your belly in that warrior. Your arms could be outstretched wide. Depends on what you're looking for. Hands on your hips today. So either way. Good. Take another breath. Let your eyes close. Just notice how your hips are feeling today. And then straighten your front leg. Hands on your hips again. So we're still on that same side. Don't let my switching back and forth change the way you're going. Long spine. As you exhale, you can fold into that slightly if you'd like. Bending your knees so that your left knee is soft. Long spine here. And slowly come back up to center, moving back into your warrior 2 legs, taking a breath or 2. And then straighten your legs again, this time turning them to the outside corners of your mat. So nice wide stance, and the only reason you would make this a little bit more narrow is if you're feeling pain, particularly pain like right here in your pubic symphysis or deep in your hips, so you'd wiggle closer together. So we're going to start just by sinking into our right hip, back to center, sink into your left hip, back to center, sink into your right hip, and to your left. And then back to center. This time you're going to round forward. So you are tucking your pelvis under, rounding that low back, and then tucking your pelvis the other direction. So just working with the mobility you have in that low part of your hips for now. This is a great place, again, to put your hands on your belly to support your back. And just add a little bit of traction. So rocking side to side or front to back for now. And then we're going to add the side to side. So coming back to center, rock to the right, center, left, center, rock forwards, and rock backwards. Rock forwards again, rock to the right, rock back, rock to the left, rock forwards, this time we'll go to the left, rock to the left, rock back, and to the right. Come back to center, notice your knees, notice if you've started to hyperextend again, let them be soft. And let's go back and forth, so front to back a few more times, moving through your low back, through your spine. Good job. And then come back to center. Turn your feet now so they're closer to parallel. Wiggle through your hips. You can release your hands if you'd like. And then we're going to bend our knees. So I want you to turn your toes out wide before we get to our goddess pose. So they're going to be outside corners of your mat. Reach your arms overhead. Exhale, bend your knees and elbows. Sink down into your goddess. Hold and breathe from here, or bring your hands to your belly. So either place, wherever you are, your knees are moving back behind you, or you're opening through your inner thighs by using your outer thighs to pull back, open those knees. Breathe and stretch. Deep breath in as you exhale, lift up through your pelvic floor, contract through your belly, giving baby a hug, long spine. And then inhale, stand tall, wiggle that out, shake it out. Now we're gonna move into that deep squat. So I'll just keep saying this every class, but this is one of those options that if you are 35 weeks and beyond, you wanna make sure the baby's head is down before sinking into a lot of deep squats, just because this is one of the poses that helps prepare your hips and your pelvic floor for birth. But if baby is feet down, we don't want to encourage that preparation. So you can grab something to sit on. So if you have a bolster at home or a pillow, you can slide that in. The other option is to take a blanket, and you're going to roll the blanket up so that it makes some version of a block. So nice big seat and nice and firm. So, and if you need more, you certainly can stack more things on top of each other. So I'm going to have that behind me so I have a place to sit. Today it's going to be a supported yogi squat. You're going to come up nice and tall, breathe in. As you exhale, bend your knees and sit down. So as we come down, our knees are wide. If you want to back them up closer towards your bolster or your blanket, you can. And then you're going to sit up nice and tall. So the tendency here is to allow your chest to round around your belly. And you can do that for a moment to settle in. And then I want you to take a breath in and extend your spine, lengthen here, and really let your weight sit down and press into your pelvic floor. And in this space, let's practice those pelvic floor contractions and releases. So this is when you are in labor and you need a space, a different option for labor, this is a great one to come into. I showed you earlier that move with partners. This is another place that you could use your partner. So my partner would stand in front, I would hold their hands and sink down into this position. So it works great if you have back pain now, but also during labor and delivery. But for now, we'll bring our hands down, sink into the squat, breathe, lengthen your spine. Good. You can close your eyes, pausing to check in with your body. Let your eyes flutter open. From here, you're going to grab the fronts of your knees, give your knees a little wiggle and shake, so you're adding blood flow back into your hips if it felt like it was slightly restricted. Wiggle your feet closer together and even out in front so you have space. If you're further along your pregnancy, this is going to look a little wider so you have more space for your belly in between your legs. We're going to move into our hip stretches. So sit further back if you're sitting up on something. If you would like to sit back down on your mat, you feel more stable there, go for it. From here, left foot's going to stay down on the ground. You're going to take that right leg and lift it up. Cross your ankle over your knee. Put your hand on the bottom of your foot to help support flexing that foot and to support your knee. And I like to put my right hand on top of my knee as well. So you can sit up nice and tall. You can scoot forward. If you'd like to, sending your chest closer to your leg. I'm close to a wall behind me, so I'm actually going to sink back into that wall and use this as a nice stretch here. So you're going to breathe. You can close your eyes in these stretches, especially the ones that are a little bit more intense. Take one more breath. Slowly let it go. Let your eyes open if you've closed them. To move out of this, take your time. So hands still resting on the foot and the knee. Lift your leg up, send it back down. Pause, give everything a wiggle and shake. Drop your knees to the right. So I'm going to scoot my feet to do that. Just pushing down. Breathe here. Use your hands for support. So my arms are very active. I'm pushing down into my bolster and down into my right hand. Come back up to center. Switch that to the other side. Walk your feet over towards the right. Drop your knees to the left. Once again, active through your hands, through your arms. And then come back to center. As we come back to center here, we're going to move to that left side. So feet out wide, just like we started before. Lift your left knee, cross your left ankle over your right knee, flex your foot, sit up nice and tall.
So if you need more space, your right foot walks away. And if you need less space or you want more intense of a stretch, you're gonna bring your leg closer. And if you're up against a wall like I am, I'm gonna settle into that wall and use it for support for my back. And then this is pretty intense for me on this side, so if it's the same for you or either side was this way, take a moment to breathe into the stretch, breathing into the place where you feel sensation. Using your breath to imagine with each inhale, that muscle expands or stretches, it lengthens, it gets bigger. And with each exhale, it settles. You surrender to gravity. You surrender to this shape. And let's just take 2 more breaths. And on your next breath in, if you close your eyes, let them flutter open. Slowly release your foot down to the mat, wiggle side to side. And then we'll bring our knees again to the right, to the left. So drop your knees to one side, press up, lift, stretch. Come back to center, drop to the other side, lift, and stretch. And then come back to center, bring your feet together. So let your knees open wide. If you need more space, you could send your feet further forward or bring them closer back if you want it more intense of a stretch. So ways to know that, if your knees are pretty high when you come into this, that tells me that you need more space, and I want you to send those feet further forward so that your knees, your hips can relax into this stretch. So find that space for you. Feet together, knees drop out wide, sit up nice and tall. And breathe. Let your eyes close. Take one more breath in. Slide your hands into your hip creases so you are aware of that space. Lengthen through your spine. And then slowly fold forward into this. And that's going to deepen that stretch, so if it's too much, you can come back out of it. And now your hands are going to make their way to your ankles. So your spine stays long. Use the next breath to round around your belly. So round your back, around your belly, dropping your chest towards your belly, rounding around baby, dropping your chin to your chest. And then take one more big deep breath. Exhale, slowly roll back up. Roll through your shoulders. Good. Bring your knees back together using your hands for support. And we're going to make our way down into that final rest place. So your options for that are, if you have that blanket and a pillow or a bolster, you can roll the blanket over to form a block. If you have a block at home, you can put a block there. And then the next step is to bring the blanket or bolster on top. So giving yourself, setting up that incline. You're going to scoot your hips all the way to the base of that, so taking your time to get there. Use your hands, especially if you're further along in your pregnancy, to support you as you lay your back down on the mat, on your bolster and pillow. Knees can be out wide in that diamond shape, or they can be up tall, feet wide, knees drop together, or you can extend your legs. As you move into this space, if it doesn't quite work for you, then you're welcome to roll onto one side. So you can do that at that incline. You're going to use your arm to support you to scoot back, rolling onto your side, shifting the pillow forward, and coming down. And you can put your bolster, your pillow in between your legs for that support, just like you do if you're sleeping, and then readjust your blanket so that you have more space, that it's fitting your head perfectly, allowing for your shoulder. As you come into that final rest space, just breathe. Let your body settle in. Notice how your body feels right now.
And check back in with baby. Notice your breath. Notice your heartbeat. And then allow yourself to just be here, to rest, quiet and still. And now deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, and circle through your ankles. Let your eyes flutter open and your eyes readjust to the light. If you're on your back, you're going to slowly make your way to your side. And then bring your, if you're on your side, you're going to move that bolster, that pillow out of the way. And we're going to practice getting up nice and slow. So as you rest on your side, your top arm comes down in front and close to your body. You're going to roll that bottom arm down. Breathe in. As you exhale, contract through your belly, giving baby a hug, and take your time to press to that top arm. Slowly bring the bottom arm down. Walk your way back up to seated. So we want to practice that. It's really important, especially as you're further along in your pregnancy, that you are using your belly to support your back, but also keeping your belly, trying to continue to support the muscles of your belly to stay together rather than to separate. So if we just lift up, we tend to push out through our belly and open that separation even more. So then you're going to scoot forward and roll both feet, sitting up nice and tall. And bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes one more time. Just checking in one final time. Being aware of how you're feeling. And proud of yourself for taking this time to practice yoga today. To move and to stretch. Take time to take care of your amazing body. And to take time to check in with baby. Let's take another breath. Thank you all for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.
So one of the things that I love to teach in this series is to show, well, you want back of your head, it's not on the screen trigger, is to show what to do when you are experience back pain. So particularly pain in your sacrum and in your low back. So if you're feeling pain here, and this could be during pregnancy, this also could be postpartum, but more importantly, during delivery, if you're having back labor, this is a really helpful thing to do, and one of my favorite things that I learned from my prenatal classes. So I'm going to use Will as my pregnant person. So he's going to turn around and face that direction. Now, first of all, come on, you can turn the face again. So if you're facing the wall, if you have something to hold on to, you face the wall, and then you're going to come into a wall dog. So you're going to send your hips back behind you and sink into that. So from the side it looks like this, and just like if you were doing down dog on the floor, only your hands are up high.
So I'm gonna have Will turn though, because I'm gonna show you what your partner is gonna do. So I'm gonna be the partner in this instance. So if you can turn and fold.
Hold this
I'm
one.
gonna give you a yeah. I'll give you something to hold on to. Alright, do this. Alright, so you're gonna sink down, Will, and let your chest drop in between your hands. Your arms can open wider. So your partner is gonna come behind and use 2 hands for this, and your fingers are gonna point up and out. So just like your shoulder blades here, but you're gonna slide down, find the sacrum at the very bottom, and you're gonna put your hands on their sacrum and press down into the sacrum. So this can be down, this can be down and out a little bit, and you communicate with your partner for this. So pressing down and providing traction, providing a little bit of pain relief for that. So anytime you're having back labor or just general back pain, this can be really helpful. You also can move up and down, so you're going to use your palms for that, and then just walk up and down, staying mostly around their sacrum. So their sacrum is a bone, or a bone down flat at the bottom. So you're just going to kind of move around through there, and then hold. So, any questions with that one? That feels good, pregnant or not, right? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Al.